This is a vlog for myself as well as for other people. I like to help people with information that I know, or things that I've collected, and I like to share those things because personally, if I didn't have them, I would like them to be shared with myself. So I'm listening to the audio version of Louise Hay's The Power Within You. And I like to take notes on these things, like if I'm reading it, regardless if I'm reading it or if I'm listening to it. First thing I wrote was, all of the events you have experienced in your lifetime up to this moment have been created by your thoughts and beliefs in this life. If I were maybe 17, or perhaps just even a year ago, I wouldn't have agreed with that, I don't think. I've always been a very spiritual and open-minded person, but not as much as I am now. I don't know if I wouldn't have taken it lightly, I think. I think I would have questioned it a lot, and I would have, really thought about it and, sort of tried to make sense of it. It's a lot different for me. Now I take it in and I nod, and I'm like, yeah, I totally see what she means, or what he means, whoever may say something like that. And I think of, all the times I've heard myself say in the past, or, family members or friends or whatever, where they would always sort of say, well, it's not that easy. And that quote really stuck out to me. If a friend were to tell you, I've tried looking for a job, and, I've applied to tons of places and I haven't gotten a job yet, and all this other stuff, da-da-da-da-da. And if you were to tell them, why don't you just stop doing this or stop doing that and try something else for a change? Because something I really live by, that my aunt told me, and ever since she told me, I was sort of like, wow, you're so right, is if it doesn't work, try something different. If complaining doesn't work on paying your bills, try something different, And I really live by that now, ever since I heard her say it. And so anyway, if you tell your friend this, then your friend's like, well, it's not that easy, you can't just think of this or whatever. It's not that easy. It's not so easy for you, sort of all this, just excuses, really. And I used to say that a lot to myself. I never realized that me saying, well, it's not that easy, or I can't do this, or why does it have to be like that, or whatever, especially it's not that easy, that those are affirmations. It was like a light switch went on, that those are affirmations. That's me saying, it's not so easy to get a better job. It's not that easy getting a better job to get paid more. That's me saying it's not that easy to get a better job. So that's me throwing out to the universe, hey, universe, it's not easy for me to get a job. That's what was happening, is because that's what I really believed. That's what I really threw out. And I didn't know that those were affirmations. I didn't know that that was me telling the universe how it was in my life. You know what I mean? That this is how it is in my life, And whenever you tell the universe something, or you affirm something to the universe without you even knowing, it gives that to you. It supports you behind that belief, or that idea, or that, whatever you put out there, it supports you. And so if you tell the universe, I'm sick, or I have allergies, or I have the flu, or I don't have a good life, or I hate my life, or you know, I can't do this, I can't do that, or why does this have to happen to me, or, you know, I have to do this, or I have to do that. Like, it hears you say this, and it knows you're saying this, and so it's like, okay, well, here, then I'll give that to you. I think about what I'm going to say, and I think about my thoughts, you know, and then I say them, and I think about the way, how to word them better, and I say it that way, you know, because it's really important, you know. And if, like, she gave us a list on things that you should change in your vocabulary, or words to remove and stuff. Like, for instance, I can't wait. This isn't in it, but this is something that I read in heard in one of her interviews, where instead of saying I can't wait, you say I'm excited to. Also, don't forget. It's another one. Like, don't forget to do the laundry. Like, reminding yourself or someone else. Like, don't forget to do the laundry. Don't forget to buy milk. Don't forget to, you know, feed the cats. Don't forget to do this. Instead, say, I'll remember to feed the cats. Or I'll remember to do the laundry. I remember to buy milk. These are like sort of demands. Demanding something from yourself isn't exactly loving yourself, I think. It's sort of like trying, like a perfectionist, like OCD perfectionist, you know what I mean? Like, it has to be this way. The picture frame has to look like this, or whatever. It's sort of like almost when you were a kid and your parents demanded that you finish your homework, or your parents demanded that you ate spinach, or demanded that you were home by a certain time, you know? And so you hear these things as a child, and you're sort of like, you don't want that. You're like, well, I don't want to be home by 5 o'clock. I don't want to eat my spinach. I want to eat this instead. I don't want to do this or do that. Like, this is what I want to do, or that's what I want to do. And you totally disagree with your parent because you're like, well, who are you to tell me this? And you sort of fight back. And if you're demanding yourself to do something, you fight back. Whether it's conscious or subconsciously, you fight back. And so I feel like don't forget is demanding, as well as I can't wait. Like, I can't wait. You cannot wait to do this. Like, you don't forget that, or don't forget this, or it's demanding, you know, or like I have to go to work, or I have to wash the clothes, or I have to do this. It's sort of like, they're just demands, and when you demand something from yourself, you get crappy results. This sun is making me look like I have no face. I have a face, I promise. Remember how easy it is for you to not think a positive thought, like, I'm in pain, or I'm going through this horrible thing, or I'm going through that horrible thing, or you wake up in the morning, you're like, well, I wonder what crappy thing's gonna happen to me today, or this coffee's disgusting, or, you know, stuff like that. Remember how easy it is for you to not think a positive thought? It is just as easily to not think a negative thought. And I so feel for that, because I'm such a positive and optimistic person, like, to the limit. And when I hear people say things like that, negative thoughts like that, I'm just like, well, why can't you say this, or why can't you say that, you know, like instead of saying this water, you know, this lake water looks disgusting, it looks totally polluted, say, the sun's shining, it looks beautiful, you know, like little things like that. Or stop thinking or noticing the horrible things. Instead of putting yourself down, or instead of saying you're ugly, or how are you ever going to get yourself out of this situation, you know, tell yourself that every problem has a solution. There's a quote here that she said. I'm doing the best I can. And even though I'm in a mess now, I will get out of it somehow. So let's find the best way to do it. Remember to tell yourself that when you're in a sticky situation, you know. Nothing's ever going to change if you keep telling yourself that you can't do something, you know. At the end of the day, instead of thinking about what you have to do tomorrow or whatever, just put those thoughts aside and, you know, forgive yourself for eating that extra piece of chocolate cake that you know you weren't supposed to eat. Say, well, it's alright, don't worry, you know, like, I forgive you. Forgive yourself for going to this place when you were supposed to be over, you know, in another place, or little things like that that you think of. Just totally release them and let it go. And thank yourself also. You really need to show yourself gratitude. That has a lot to do with loving yourself. Thank yourself for, you know, eating that salad for lunch instead of the burger that they offered you. Thank yourself for drinking water instead of alcohol. Thank yourself for recycling. Thank yourself for throwing the plastic bottle in the recycling bin instead of the trash can that was sitting right next to it that everyone else was throwing their bottles into. You know what I mean? Thank yourself for running that extra mile. Thank yourself for picking up that piece of trash in front of that lady's door, or, you know, thank yourself for cleaning the house. Little appreciative things like that. And the more you forgive and thank yourself and thank God and the universe and the angels and whatnot, you will notice such a drastic change in your life. And depending on really how much belief you put behind those things, you'll see results in, you know, days, really, not months or a year or weeks. You know, maybe just a few days, you'll see changes in the way you think, in the way you take things in, or whatever it may be. So yeah, that's what I learned from Louise Hay's Power Within You.